Well, Dad, tell me what kind of nicknames you had.
I had a nickname, Boomy. I don't know how I got it, but the guys used to call me Boomy. And my dad called me Murphy. And I think he had in mind that there was a scholarship for anybody named Murphy at some college. So I think late in life he was going to change my name to Murphy so I could get that scholarship. He wouldn't have to worry about getting me through college. And Sully, of course, is just a variation on O'Sullivan, Sullivan. Lots of Sullivans are named Sully.
Okay, so what were some of your favorite childhood games?
I remember playing Ring-a-Levio, which was some kind of game where you hunted. Everybody dispersed except for the ringleader, and he was out rounding up these people and putting them in a ring. And he also had to prevent somebody from running through the group that had been captured and saying Ring-a-Levio, in which case everybody dispersed again. We played that with the Nelsons next door. I don't know if the Healys were ever involved in it, but that was a big game we played with the neighbors next door.
What decade of life did you most enjoy and why?
Well, I think when I got married.
Good answer, Dad.
If I leave the room when you change it.
Yeah, growing up with my wife and raising new kids was an enjoyable period of life.
What kind of work do you do?
A geologist. Dealt some with coal. I go out and look at rocks and decide what they are and where they go and why they go. Some with oil shale out there on in the western Colorado. I should display maps or something.
Yes, you should.
That's what I did.
You'd rather be stuck on a desert island with Alec Guinness or Dan Rather?
What a choice.
Yeah. Well, Alex Guinness, he had some wonderful movie parts. Captain's Paradise. Explain how that worked.
What do you think is the greatest invention ever?
Greatest invention ever. Marriage.
I'm going to leave the room. You're making this up. You know
Well,
you
I
are.
wasn't asked to, Jeep maybe got me all over the places I needed to go. So I didn't have to walk.
What were some of those places?
Out in the boondocks. San Juan Basin was a nice place because because of the nature of the rock out there, you could almost drive to any place you wanted to with a four-wheel drive vehicle, which saved you a lot of time, so you didn't have to walk 4 or 5 miles to get into a place. And that was just nice and handy to have.
What is your favorite area that you worked in?
Well, I think southeast Utah, you could see the rocks better there than you could in the San Juan Basin. Things seemed to be more covered up down there. And you had to dig a lot of coal out. And when I was working in southeast Utah, we weren't digging coal. There wasn't any coal there to dig.
Did you ever come across any aliens?
Did I come across any aliens?
Outer space aliens.
Well, I came across some junk that had fallen out of the sky as part of a rocket system or something that they were firing from Green River in Utah down to the White Sands in New Mexico. They were shooting rockets across there, and I think one didn't work or something because there was a bunch of junk on a cliff that I came across unexpectedly. South of Green River, maybe 30, 40 miles.
Did you meet any Navajos out on your trips?
Run into too many, I didn't have too much contact. We worked with some of the Navajos putting together some maps. They were geologists that the tribe had put through the school in Flagstaff and came out as geologist, and they were learning what we had to do. I came across a few of them. Once in a while they were wondering what I was doing. I remember one cold day I was out there huddled in my Jeep, and one of them came along, was noticing I was looking at aerial photographs, and he did a lot of signaling, indicate, yeah, those were pictures taken from an airplane. And he was out there in the cold, I don't know, but he wasn't shivering like I was. I was inside and it was warm, but poor guy was out there looking at what I was trying to do.
What was he doing?
Herding sheep or something. I don't know where his sheep were. They had taken off, or he was trying to catch up with them.
Up when you got shot at.
Oh, yeah, well, there was some nice Navajos. We were on a drill rig out there, and some Navajo objected to us and started shooting at us, not near us. We could hear the bullets going overhead. And he finally rode up and thought maybe, after he saw us up close, he thought we were the good guys. So he rode away and left us behind, wondering what to do next.
And what about the story of when you were camping?
No, that was up near Bluff, south of the river, San Juan River. We camped out with a geologist that went to the same high school I did in New Haven, Connecticut. And we were sleeping on cots because my boss, who was from the same high school, liked to be above the snakes and everything when he slept out at night. And early in the morning, some Navajos must have seen us and ran a herd of sheep through us, woke us up. We came out of the sleeping bag looking at these things. I thought they probably got a good joke out of it.
Tell us about your special dinner with a visiting dignitary.
I think the story got a little out of hand. The Nelsons next door sold the Colts and Winchester rifles and guns in the Philippines. And Eisenhower was out there with MacArthur in those days. And one of the Nelsons was Colonel Grant, and I suspect he might have been related to Ulysses S. Grant. I never did find that out. But he probably knew Eisenhower in the course of, because he had been in the Army for some time and retired and lived in Orange towards the end of his life.
We could talk about the war, too. Yeah, your role in the war.
My role in the war wasn't very much. I got drafted and put in the Air Force, and I never did get out of the country. Wandered all over, went to a lot of places. Worked on B-24s, and then I went to loading bombs, practice bombs, and ammunition that the crews would shoot at targets. And later on, I was transferred to Florida and went to P-51 outfit. Not long afterwards, the war ended. And for about 6 months, I realized later, 6 months afterwards, I wandered around trying to get out of the Army because I never touched another gun, never another airplane for about the last 6 months that I was in the Army.
What'd you do?
Try to get out.
And you went to where? Where were you going? What school? Yale?
Yeah, I had a semester at Yale, and then I got drafted and then started back. I don't know if I had to wait for a year or something, or a semester to get back in. I forget exactly when I started back at Yale.
So at Yale, did you have like a dress code for dinner?
Yeah, for lunch, yeah, you had to wear a jacket and you had to wear a tie. We got a menu and decided what we wanted to eat. And it was pretty, then after the war, of course, everybody was slobs and dressed any way they wanted.
Tell us about your friends, Sport and Gene.
Sport and Gene. I think, didn't he work as a butler or something? I forget. Gene was the
Housekeeper.
housekeeper. Yeah, housekeeper for some rich people somewhere. They were from Minnesota, and he had been in the Air Force too. Had been on a B-24, but he'd been out in the Pacific. Sporty Godfrey. Sporty later became a judge out there. I think in Minneapolis, St. Paul. And Jean went to school with Charlie Schultz, who grew peanuts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she knew him.
When you were at Yale, did you have majors? Like, did you declare yourself undecided?
They made sure you took a certain number of courses. You had to have something in a foreign language. You had to have English courses. I was geared to geology when I came back from the war, so I was taking a lot of geology courses for science. Others were taking chemistry and physics, and to get a degree, I don't know what it was, a Bachelor of Art or Bachelor of Science I eventually got. I think it was just a general Bachelor of Arts, something like that. You had to take a certain number of courses. They monitored you very carefully, make sure you didn't wind up the last year without their requirements fulfilled.
What are your earliest memories of Uncle Tom?
They were several years away from us, you know. I remember Sis more than I remember those two because they were out in college and we were still going to school. They were around and I'd see them, but it was like another family or something. There was such a gap in the ages that I thought they were out there somewhere, different.
Yeah. Okay, and how about Sis? What are your memories of playing with Sis? Your first memories?
First memories of Sis, I remember her getting bit by Rex, the dog. She was pulling the tail of the poor thing, you know, and turned around and bit her. And I guess it made a nice little dimple in her cheek that was there forever when she was growing up. Yeah. I know my dad didn't like Rex doing that. I guess he beat her up pretty bad. And one time in our house, Jim came in the back door and the dog went through the front door, which was a screen door, went right through the screen door and disappeared.
Tell me about Racebrook. What are your memories of Racebrook?
Well, it was a convenient course. It was right down the bottom of the hill. I remember the 11th hole was 511 yards, I think, long, a great big long one. Sometimes we'd sneak down there and shoot a few balls, putt away on the green. I guess we weren't supposed to do that, but nobody ever caught us doing that sort of thing. I think somewhere along that line too, Sis got tangled with a squirrel. I think that bit her too. Maybe that was the one that bit her. She was trying to pet it or do something that she shouldn't be doing with it. It turned on her.
So, but you didn't go to the same high school?
No, she went to a more refined one. We're trying to make her a refined lady. And maybe they succeeded. I don't remember Sis playing much golf early on like that. I think that came later on, maybe during the war. I think she got, Uncle Andy gave her membership to Racebrook. And I think it was during the war. It was a good time to get it because there weren't too many people playing those days.
Right. So do you miss Connecticut?
To an extent. I know Uncle John. Is he Uncle John? He's John, the nephew. What is he?
Yeah, nephew.
Yeah, he says that's the worst climate in the whole world, and he's been all over the world, so maybe he knows what he's doing. It was kind of muggy in the summer, and I guess it was walking down to the swimming pool, getting the nettles and things, and when you wade through or go by them. I was lucky I never. There's a lot of poison ivy back there, but it never bothered me. I was immune to that, thank heavens. But that's one of the things I remember. Going through the forest the forest source that we had back there near the Whippoorwill River. I remember I bought a single shot 22, or my mother bought me a 22 shot rifle, and I'd be down there shooting targets and going into the woods and doing that sort of thing. When I finally got in the Army, I was able to hit some targets, and I'm surprised that the other soldiers missing those great big billboards that they put up for them to shoot at. They did take us out on the firing range and see if we could hit something. The Nelsons next door had a lot of nice guns from Winchester and Colt. He'd sell those things. And maybe Doone Nelson might have given me some help, some instruction.
So did your dad, was he working all the time, so you never saw much of him?
He had pretty long hours, and he was a circuit judge too. He'd go away for a period of time. I don't know what it was, weeks or like a week or something like that, up in different parts of Connecticut. Be able to drive back to home and stay there at a hotel or something. I'd go down and see him there once in a while. Big stately rooms he had to work in. So I saw Tom one time. Weren't you with us?
I was.
We stopped there and saw Tom. It was impressive. He had to be awake all the time. So I object. He had to rule on it right away.
So now, did you guys eat together as a family? You and your dad and mom? And
Oh yeah. Sometimes we had a cook helping us, helping Ma, bringing out we had a dining room separate from the kitchen, and she'd bring out the food. I remember her cutting up the hamburger steaks. That was one vivid memory I had in my mind. I want to get my big share of that hamburger steak. But I don't remember, of course, Tom and Jim had moved on. I don't remember them at the table. They'd be for holidays like Christmas or Thanksgiving would be a big thing. They'd come in for those if they were available. Of course, that was a big thing with the Christmas tree. They put it up Christmas Eve after Sis and I had gone to bed, and somehow I was able to wake up at 2 in the morning or something like that, and wake Sis up. We'd creep down there and look at that tree that Santa had all set up for us, and checking out the presents underneath it. Wait till dawn so we could go look at our presents. I think I got a chemistry set one time, a whole bunch of things. I don't know exactly what I did with it, but I tried to mix this, that, and the other, and make things. We didn't spend very long looking at the things because we went off to Middletown to see Ma's side of it.
I don't know. I can't really tell what it's telling me.
They'll figure it out. Patrick will figure it out later.
Yes, he will. Okay, is that enough for tonight?
Okay.
Okay.
If I left from California to put me on a train, maybe they were serving.